Ladies and gentlemen, we are finally here. The Joji Nectar album review. Better late than never. Roll it. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Channel's name is TheThirdErnest. I'm Ernest Adiano III, y'all guys' third family. If you're new here and you're not subscribed and you like what you see at the end of the video, consider subscribing and becoming part of this little family we got going on. Click in bottom right hand corner, subscribe button. Now, like I said, better late than never on this Joji Nectar reaction. I was like, I had been meaning to get to it for a long time, but I had so many other things to get to at that time. I honestly haven't even heard the album yet, and I'm a huge Joji fan, and I haven't heard it because I've been waiting to make the review. I didn't want to like hear it and then spoil the first reactions for everybody. But I've been a huge fan of Joji for quite some time now, like the actual artist himself, Joji, like going back to In Tongues, the EP, and then Ballads #1 or Ballads 1, you know, those two albums, and then now we have Nectar. I've been listening to those albums for years at this point. And then even before that, I was like a fan of Joji and Filthy Frank and Pink Suit Guy and all that, like all the way back in the heyday of YouTube, before the apocalypse and all of that, when you could be a little bit more edgy on YouTube in terms of your content, and he definitely was edgy. Now, in order, the In Tongues EP and then Ballads 1, it was like a huge step from the first one to the second one. You know, we had like this kind of alternative R&B, like lo-fi, but not really, kind of darker sounding R&B in terms of the lyrics and the crypticness. But In Tongues, there was definitely, it was like setting a foundation for what would eventually be Ballads 1. And Ballads 1 was solid, but there was definitely some moments in the album that I'm like, I'm not too sure about this. Like, there's a couple of songs that to this day I just skip completely because I'm not really a huge fan of them. But there was definitely a lot of potential in that album, especially with songs like, you know, Slow Dancing in the Dark and then Attention. Just the way those two back to back started the album, Attention and then Slow Dancing in the Dark, you know, those are crazy tracks, and those completely showed like the power that Joji has as an artist and as a singer. And even in that album, his vocals were not completely there yet. He was still trying to find his sound. But Attention, Slow Dancing in the Dark, Wanted You, Can't Get Over You, No Fun, Why Am I Still in LA, like all of these tracks, these are like some solid tracks that are on that like hit my shuffle, and I don't ever skip them because of how good they are. And then we had songs like Run and Sanctuary coming off of like the singles for the new album Nectar. So I'm hyped because those albums, like the singles so far, have been pretty solid. Give Me Love was kind of like a weirder sound, not traditional like what I would expect from Joji, especially from Ballads 1, but it's also a decent track once you listen to it. But that's it for the preface, that's it for the prologue of this video. We're gonna get right on into the full album review right now. Follow your boy on Instagram and on Twitter at TheThirdErnest, just like the channel. The links are down in the description below. And we have Joji, Nectar. Let's get it.
When it's lovely, I believe in anything. What does love mean when the end is rolling in?
I love the sound of this right now, like the piano. The piano itself felt sad before the lyrics came in, and then the lyrics come in like that. Like they say, like, what does love mean if we're nearing the end? Like before is love, like I do anything for this person. You know, like I feel the happiest when I'm with them. They are my comfortable space. They are my safe space, my haven. Like that's what love is. But when it's nearing the end, but you're still in love, like honestly, what is it? Is it like, is love just holding on to the memories of the past and hoping that we can get back to that? Is love like knowing that we need to cut ties, but we're not going to because we're trying to make this work?
Let it go, let it stay. Can we love one another? Cold, is it safe to be warm in the summer? Who knows? I said who knows? Teach me to love just to...
Holy fuck, dog. I thought we were gonna stay at that slow pace the whole time, and then the strings came in and I was like, that had some serious emotion to the track. But then the actual instrumental comes in, the beat, the bass, 808, whatever, bro. I was not ready for that. That was fucking dope. But we're gonna go back and listen to that beat drop because that was fire.
I said who knows?
Something about Joji's voice that like I loved, and I could tell that his vocals were getting stronger in the progression from the EP to Ballads 1 to now, is like he's got a very airy, like a very breathy voice. I don't know how to explain it, but that airiness during the high notes, during like this heavy beat drop and the lyrics that he's talking about, you taught me to love just to let me go. Like, ah, it's like that one song that I just did by Boogie, LOL SMH, when he says that, you know, fuck Janae, I helped her get on her feet just to see her walk away. Like, damn, that's a heavy lyric every time, no matter which way you put it. And then he follows that up with, I can't believe that I'm not enough. Like,
let you know.
Bro, the lyrics are so good. No one will be here to save you because I was the only one that was willing and you let me go. And this is your world. We're all just, you're the center of this universe. We're all just living in it.
In a lie, oh, good. Teach me to love just to let no one will be here to save you. And no one will be here to let you know.
Yo, that's exactly the intro that I would have wanted, what I would have been expecting. It's the same feeling, like the same feeling of like surprise that I got when I heard Attention, and then the bass dropped in Attention heavy, and then they put that distorted vocal, like he's coming through like a broken speaker on his voice. It's that same level of like, damn, I wasn't ready for that, you know? Next up we got Modus or Modus. I don't know how to pronounce it, but bro, just the imperfections within the production, I love that shit. Like you can hear him like pushing down the pedals on the feet to keep the notes open, and then you can hear like the pedals, like the keys going down, and you can literally hear like the mallet or whatever it's called in a piano that hits the string to make the note. That's fucking clean. Bro, these beats are coming in. They're doing it for me right now.
Speed it up, slow it down, need control, need it now. I need to live 1,000 times. I cannot stop, I cannot cry. I will not fret, I will not die. I am a machine, I stay alive. Sometimes I think, sometimes I think, sometimes I think, sometimes I think.
I cannot stop, I cannot cry. I'm a machine, I stay alive. Machines are not alive, but the ghost in the machine is always alive. That's dope.
I got no aim, a million rounds, there's nothing real. 100 pounds of heavy steel, it feels so loud. Tied to my chest, it feels so loud. I'll take a peek till I cross the peaks. This cross is needed, I'm quite unique. But I'd like to be, but I'd like to be. And I hope this.
See, like that's the crypticness that I'm talking, that people say, and I've said it already in the video, but a lot of people, even he himself, he says he's cryptic and he's weird. That shit comes off as indifferent. He says that on the song Attention in Ballads 1. But like these lyrics right here, they're so vague. Like, what do they mean? Like, I'm good at breaking down rap lyrics because even though there's hidden messages within there's like different meanings within the wordplay due to the homophones, like you catch the meaning that's there, the one that's right in front of you, and then you think about outside the lines, what are these words saying sonically that could mean something different. That's how I'm able to catch as many bars as I do. But right here, when there's no like context, when there's no nothing, it's like this is left up to so many different interpretations.
This is the hardest part. We try. And when they say they're satisfied, they're lying. You forgive me, I've seen the treasures in the bloom. But right now, I'm just not strong enough for you.
Yeah, lyrics are fire, dog. Like, Joji's a good songwriter. And that opens up a little bit of like that brings to light a little bit of what the first verse meaning could have been. Like when he said this is the hardest part, we try, and when they say they're satisfied, they're lying. Like you're never gonna be satisfied, so you keep on pushing. The grass is greener on the other side, so I gotta try to get there. I'm not gonna stop. I feel this weight on my chest, like just the feeling of drive, like relentless drive. But the last line in the hook, do forgive me, I see the treasures in the bloom, but right now I'm just not strong enough for you. I can't be the person you need me to be. It's crazy.
They're satisfied, they're lying, you forgive.
I like that. That's like something that's signature to Joji when he like goes down and then up like that. They're lying. Like that. That's dope. I like that he brings that into a lot of his tracks. It's like an ad lib without being an ad lib.
I don't feel the way they program me to feel the day. Some pieces fall from the waist up. I'm so sorry for the delays. Just need one moment to erase that burning pain before the rage. I feel good. I feel good. I feel good. I feel good. And I hope.
That whole delivery, that whole last section of that verse right there, that delivery was fire. From the point where he said that I don't feel the way they programmed me to feel today, like that little cadence, that was tight. But see, I still don't know like the vagueness of the song. Like I can never get Joji lyrics the first time straight away because
When they say they're satisfied, they're lying to forgive me. I've seen the treasures in the blue. Not strong enough for you.
All right, this song is tight. I like it. I wasn't sure if I was gonna like it at first. My favorite part about this track is definitely the first portion of the song that leads up into the first hook, and then the hook itself. The relentlessness, like I was saying, in his delivery of his lines. Like he's just, I cannot stop, I cannot quit, I cannot die, I'm a machine. Like that delivery just brings home what he's saying. Like the grass is greener on the other side, and I need to get there. And people that say they're satisfied, they're lying. You know. All right, next we got TikTok. I don't know if this is gonna be about the app or about like time literally ticking and like TikTok, like time ticking away.
Yeah.
I hate to say this at the very beginning of the track, but this sounds like a Swiss Beats knockoff.
Heavy like a Brinks truck, looking like I'm TikTok, shining like a wristwatch. Time will grab your wrist, lock it down to the thing pop. Can you stick around for a minute till the ring stop? Please God.
All right, this is obviously more rap influence, and I'm not too sure if I'm too crazy about this one just yet. Like I said, I feel like this is kind of maybe like a Swiss Beats knockoff a little bit.
As time keeps slipping away, girl, don't start feeling away.
That was fire right there. The beat drop out, and then for him to say as time keeps slipping away, dope. And then we're talking about TikTok, so we're clearly talking about time and heavy like a wristwatch, obviously.
As time keeps slipping away, girl, don't start feeling away. You and I, we are one and the same, loving and pain, loving and...
That's a dope lyric right there. You and I are one and the same. We're just loving in pain. We've both been broken and we've both been beaten down. So we're trying to figure out how to love each other, but we're loving in pain from past relationships that have scarred us. That's a good ass line for sure.
I just hit the jackpot. I wish you were here with me now so I can feel some. I wish you were here, hold me down like a real one. Wanna be a big shot.
Where's that background ad lib from? I feel like is it like an Usher song?
As time keeps slipping away, girl, don't
that
start
shit.
feeling away. With my hands in the ocean, with my hands in the ocean, I pray.
See, that's what I'm talking about with Joji lyrics, bro. They're so cryptic. Like, what does he mean by hands in the ocean? I pay and I pray. That could be literally like a biblical like reference, like hands in the ocean, like cleansing myself, or it could be literal. Like, I just don't know with Joji because his lyrics are so cryptic and so vague at times. But yeah, that track right there, I mean, it's not my favorite so far. That's probably my least favorite on the album. If we're talking about like that alternative hip hop, alternative R&B type of sound, that lo-fi, that very like downplayed R&B, I feel like I like the one before this, Modus. I feel like I like that one more than I like this one. It's gonna have to take me a couple of listens to this track to decide whether or not I like it, but so far it's just to me. Next up we got Daylight with Diplo, and I'm not gonna do this track on this album review because I've already heard the track and I've seen the music video. I'll link it somewhere up here if y'all want to check that one out. But going from Modus to TikTok to Daylight, like that's a good transition from the first two tracks because the first two tracks were very ballad heavy, and this track right here, even though the lyrics are sad and even though the lyrics are somber, because Diplo's on it, it has like this higher energy to it. I like this track a lot, especially if you just listen to it without the music video. If you haven't seen the video, basically I didn't like the music video so much until I realized that it was a dream sequence, and that kind of pieced everything together for me. But we're gonna move on to the next track, Upgrade, but just know that the progression of the album for me is nice. It's going from like the slow ballads to a little bit more hip hop, and then definitely a lot more hip hop with TikTok, and then we transitioned to kind of like lo-fi EDM, I guess you could call it, and then now we're on to the Upgrade.
Yes, I'm flying international. We can meet, but no more lies at the Oriental.
We can meet, but no more lies at the Oriental. He could literally be talking about like no more sex at the Oriental, like the hotel, or he could be talking about literally no more lies, like no more lying to each other, lying to maybe our significant others that we're meeting each other.
I just need you one more time to get it right, you know. Won't you upgrade? I know it hurts. You deserve it, I know your worth. If you think you can't make it happen, we'll keep it optional.
Alright, so for that one, definitely the weaker song on the album if we had to put the entire album in order. It's gonna take me a couple of listens to think about this one, but this might be my least favorite song so far. I'm not really a fan of the way that they mix his vocals. I know that that's his style, but... Alright, so I didn't record it, but I went ahead and re-listened to the track over and over. I think I listened to it 3 times in a row because it's such a short track, so I could. It grew on me a little bit. The lyrics are definitely deeper than what they seem like on the surface. And I don't know if this is the interpretation, but this is my interpretation. It's like he's talking about himself. Like maybe he fucked up the relationship in the past and he's upgraded himself. He's upgraded like a flight, like literally to first class upgrade. But also he's saying like all I need is just one more chance to make it right. Like won't you upgrade to me, or won't you take me back, who is the upgraded version of the person who I was before? So won't you upgrade yourself to me one more time? And I know that it hurts because I hurt you in the past, and it hurts to like open your heart potentially to that one once again, especially when those are the only memories you have of us. But you deserve it. You deserve the me that I am now. So won't you make it worth it and upgrade? And if not, if we can at least keep it optional. Like I just need one more chance, but if it's not going to happen right now, just know that the option is always there. The lyrics started to hit after like the second or third time, so I kind of changed my perception of the track. But still, I don't like the processing. I don't like the production on this track. And then next we got Gimme Gimme Love. So it's dope to, I mean, I'm obviously not gonna do that one either. I'll link that one above. I did that music video originally. Next is Run after that. And I've already done this track and I broke down the music video, and I love the music video and I love this track. This is definitely, probably so far, like not even probably, definitely the strongest track on the album that I've heard. So strong, in fact, and I like it so much, we ain't gonna skip it.
I fell for your magic. I tasted your skin. I witnessed your madness. You shed light on my sins. No, you're not alone like you used to be, 'cause I'm not the one like you used to think. So I'll just
Shit gets me every time, dog. This is such a good fucking song.
'Cause I'm not enough like you used to think. So I'll just you bathe in your victory. You blew out on my fuse. And if I took on the planet, will I pay my dues?
Bro, the lyrics of this song are so fucking good. I'm gonna go ahead on record and say that it's gonna be hard for him to top this track on this album. That's how good this track is. This is like Joji coming into like his final form, fucking Super Saiyan mode. All right, we're done with that track. It's fucking fire though. Sanctuary is good as well, bro. We've done the entire middle portion of this album, but it's been a hot minute since I've heard Sanctuary because it doesn't really come up on my shuffle that often, but so we're gonna listen to this track actually.
Go ahead and bark after dark, falling star, I'm your call away.
This is a good ass track too. Now that I just remember the melody, fire. Yup.
Motel halls, neon walls, when night falls, I am your escape.
Just the visuals, dog. Motel walls and neon halls, like of neon signs and bars, like yo, dope.
If you've been waiting for falling in love, baby, you don't have to wait on me. I've been aiming for heaven above, but an angel ain't what I need.
Dawg, the lyrics, bro. I've been aiming for the heavens above to try to get to the angels and try to get to the stars, and I realized that the angels aren't even what I need. You are what I need because you're my sanctuary. Fire, dog. But all right, that's it. That's all we're gonna do for that track, because as the track was coming back to me, I remembered that like it's a strong, solid track, especially the first one off of this new album that came out, and it's almost like a year and a half, 2 years old, if I'm not mistaken, that track. So it's been a while since I heard it, but when you hear it in line with the rest of the album, like the album is progressing very well. Like it doesn't seem like one song is out of place. You can listen to this album front to back, and so far it sounds like it was meant to be listened front to back. Like yes, there was definitely one, maybe two tracks in there that I was just like about, but the rest of the album is carried so far very well. And the progression of Joji as an artist and his evolution as an artist, this album fits right in line with the first two. Like he's just getting better and better, and that's what you want from an artist that you've spent a lot of time listening to. You feel like you've devoted a lot of time to them, and you want their art and you want their expression of who they are to evolve in the same way that you've evolved over time. Like me at 20 years old is not the same me at 31. Like I want the artist to evolve with me, and it seems like Joji is doing that very well. All right, next up we got High Hopes featuring Omar Apollo. That instrument, that old school instrument that used to play in elementary school. What I really stopped it to say is that this track right here feels the most lo-fi out of all the tracks so far.
A little messed up, do you feel it? A little bit of this and a little bit of that. And it's just so bad if you need me. Just a little bit, well, don't get rid of me.
And he says a little bit messed up, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Like she want to know which way I'm leaning. And that's all of us. Like anybody that's ever been, gone through breakups or gone through rough relationships before in the past. And, you end up being scarred, and you end up not going into love with the same type of enthusiasm as you once did. You're a little more guarded when you meet somebody for the first time, and it takes a little bit longer than you normally would have to let down that guard and let that person in.
I'ma talk like I don't really mean it. Brand new whip, sound like Cheerio. Block on Musa like some cereal.
Moving soft like some cereal after he just had the Cheerio bar.
I don't think you gotta keep it secret. All the bags on the floor make you eat it. But my eyes boy too bright, got them sequins. Man, I hope you coming back, got that free shit. Boy, they got that free shit. That's a
All right, the song was decent. Yeah, it's obviously coming off of Run and Sanctuary. It's gonna be hard to follow those tracks up with like a slow track like this, especially one where the hook is like so slow. The hook is only High Hopes 4 times, and the feature's delivery and his lyrics were good on this track. Like to me, it like balanced out the slow-paced nature of Joji's verse, and his delivery was a little more. His delivery was obviously more braggadocious and a little bit more confidence in the energy in the words. It's a good track, but following it up after Run and Sanctuary, that's difficult. All right, next up we got Nitrous. I like the themes to cars and automobiles and motorcycles and stripes, like racing stripes on cars. And now, like the song title Nitrous fits the fact that he's talking about vehicles.
And the pain make me want a big ring, but I'm in a Rover, I won't feel a thing.
See, like now I'm in a Rover and I won't feel a thing. Talking about a Range Rover, so the Nitrous makes sense.
Fighting two devils, but in my toothpaste. I was in your town, driving 80 miles. Do not even notice, do not even frown.
I like this track. I like the beat. I like the pace of it, and just the visualization that he gives you with his lyrics. Like I've been awake thinking about our fate, fighting two devils on each of my shoulder, or two devils inside of my head. There is no angel sight, spitting blood in my toothpaste, like and spitting it into the night. Like that's dope.
Love make me wanna sing, sing. And the heart make me wanna sing, sing. And the pain make me wanna big me.
All right, so this track, I mean, there's something about Joji's sound that's not going to be able to let him, it's not that it's not going to propel him to the next level, and it's not that he wants to get to the next level in terms of his artistry and his career. Like he has his clique, he has his fan base, he has the people from YouTube that loved him all the way back to Filthy Frank, so they follow him. He has the people that found him after Filthy Frank and don't even realize that who he was when he was Filthy Frank. Like he's got his core fan base. And as long as he's comfortable with that core fan base and with like, you know, putting out music that they enjoy, you know, that's fine. But something about, and I don't want to say something about it, it's more than likely his lyrics, because they're so vague and because they sound very abstract in what they're talking about. Like, a lot of people outside of Joji's fan base that listen to just, you know, just your casual listener, they're not going to gravitate toward Joji because, at least in their eyes, because the lyrics aren't straightforward and literal, there's nothing that they can relate to within the lyrics without having to go and dive deeper and deeper into like who he is and why he thinks the way he does or what emotions do they have that match the lyrics. I'm going to do that because I'm a Joji fan. You're going to do that watching this because you're a Joji fan. But the people that are trying to come on board, it takes a lot of effort and it takes a lot of dedication that a lot of people are not going to have for a new artist, especially when the lyrics are so cryptic. All right, next we got Pretty Boy featuring Lil Boat.
I'm a pretty boy living on the west side.
Woo.
Living so loud you could never hear me cry.
Yo, all right, so the beat on this is definitely heavier and more aggressive, which is fitting because Lil Yachty is obviously a rapper. This is a good change of pace, like a good switch up from the last two tracks. Like the way the album is progression, we're like kind of on a roller coaster. At first it was like up, 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 and then down, like once we got to the slow, and then Run, Sanctuary, and then down again, and now we're back at a little bit higher pace, like in terms of the tempo.
I'm a pretty boy living on the west side, popping blue pills and sipping on finest.
Yo, the production is fire, dog. Like heavy-handed on the bass, and I love it. And then now we have the snare and the clap. So right here, obviously the second portion has been just like a repeat of the first portion of the song, but like the first 4 or 5 bars, but it's switched up just enough to like give it a different meaning. In the first part, he said, I'm a pretty boy living on the west side. In the second part, I'm a pretty boy living on the west side. But he said, living so loud, you can never hear me cry. And then right here, he said, no more fears and no more lies, popping blue pills and sipping on the finest. And he said, oh, these hills, they burn so bright. And in the second portion, he said, I tell myself to sleep at night amongst these hills. Fire.
Handsome young man, never pull up on time. Looking in a mirror, looking good should be a crime.
That production switch up right there on Lil Yachty's part. Clean.
All this pain I'll never let show. My real thoughts you'll never know. Never know.
All this pain I'll never let show. All my thoughts you'll never know. Like I'll put this facade on, but this facade is not what I'm actually feeling deep down. A lot of people do that.
Some young men never worry about time. Flexing on the net, it's the same offline.
Flexing on the net, like flexing on Instagram, it's the same offline. I'm not just doing it for the gram, this is actually who I am. And the first line said, handsome young man, never pull up on time. And then handsome young man, never worried about time.
I don't lead, where will they go? They follow my every move, every move, every move.
That's a good line. I mean, I like Lil Yachty's verse right there. I'm normally not too big of a fan of Lil Yachty. That's just not the type of rap that I grew up with. But I thought that was a solid verse right here. His voice fits the theme of the track. But that line, if I don't lead, where will they go? They're following me. So if I'm not going anywhere, they're not following anywhere, you know? I like this track more than I thought I was going to at the beginning, but it all fell in place for me, especially after the beat kicked in, especially after Lil Yachty's portion and then the beat switch up, like the progression in the beat to get to sound slightly different for Lil Yachty. Like, that was dope. This track's fire.
The devil came back.
That was dope. I knew that was gonna happen when he came in singing. Like, it sounds like it's underwater, like it sounds like it's kind of muffled, and then it stops, and then when he comes in, the beat like comes alive. That was tight. See, it's like underwater a little bit.
The devil came back. He's dancing in your past, so you're acting like you need me now. Hey, so tell me if I'm mad. There's something in your laugh that makes me feel the way you smile.
Yeah.
Hey.
Tell me if I'm mad. Am I going crazy? Is it just me? Is there something in your laugh that makes me fear the way you smile? Like, my gut is telling me that smile and that laugh is not sincere. Especially since now the devil's back in your life and he's dancing in your path. And so now you need me now. It seems like there's some type of ulterior motive. That's dope. See, that's the kind of like crypticness in the lyrics and like the vagueness in the lyrics, but there's still they're still not so vague that you don't get what he's saying. It's vague, but it's just at the cusp of being relatable. So it's like, it's something that people are going to be able to get emotions out of, versus like another track where there's really nothing. It's kind of just all abstract. It sounds like he's putting words together, but you have to go in there and dive in and understand why he's saying what he's saying, you know?
We can pretend we're normal people, and I can repeat those lines. We can pretend we're boring people, and it's hard to believe sometimes.
This track right here is probably one of my favorites on the albums. Obviously after Sanctuary and Run and all the singles, like just the non-single tracks on the album, this is probably the strongest one that I've heard since the first 3 tracks. And again, I think that all boils down to the fact like that the lyrics are relatable. The lyrics are easier to understand. They're still just as emotion filled, but they're not so abstract that I'm like, the fuck is he talking about? You know what I'm saying? And the melody is solid and the beat isn't doing anything too crazy. It's just like very simple and it's clean.
We planned everything we wanted. Your favorites, longer than we had.
Yeah, this feature, dog, is solid. That new planet, we planted everything that we wanted. Like, that is so emotion filled without being too cryptic. Such a good way of saying like new love. Like we discovered we could do whatever we wanted with new love. There was no holds barring. There was no pain. There's no suffering that we have to try to look past. Like everything was brand new to us. The fairy tale ends eventually, and once you get into reality, that's when like things start to fall apart. Yeah, see, man, those lyrics are so good. The longer that we hide, everything starts to hit harder, but I know that I'm safe. I know that I'm safe on the inside. I know that we're fine. That's dope.
Tell me if I'm mad. There's something in your laugh that makes me feel the way you smile. Hey, it's hard to believe sometimes.
Yo, that track was good. So good. Like I said, one of my favorites on the album so far. And I can't emphasize it enough. It's because of the melody and it's because the lyrics are they're vague, but they're easy to understand. Like if you can put yourself in this situation, or if you can think about a past relationship, this is a good track. I don't think I realized how long the album was. We still have like 6 tracks to go.